I understand. You want to serve too? Whatever you want to do. I'm here to help. Sorry.
Oh, how did I hear that one? I know, I heard.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, so what do these guys?
Selfies. You like IPA?
Yeah.
Selfies.
I do.
Selfies.
Let's go.
Peak of our mountain.
All right.
1,326 feet above sea level.
Excellent.
That's why I feel right there. Pretty good. That's why I feel.
What you got?
Excellent. Well, she's got that smile on her face. Looks like it's her. Excellent. This is really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you got what you need. Here you go. An IPA. Again? You can? Oh, yeah. Great to see you, too.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely.
Here we go.
Yeah. I have to ask you this stuff. Beer in the picture.
In the picture's fine. Perfect. I feel with Bill is
Exactly. Done. Perfect. It's not American.
Well, that's exactly right. You can't have that, especially when you come here. That's right. Can't do that.
I'm so sorry on that one.
Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, friends, good afternoon. Okay, the auto response is when I say good afternoon, you say good afternoon. Good afternoon. Excellent. Thank you so much. We're thrilled to be here at Mountain Base Brewery. The New Hampshire Home Builders, we have 500 members. We represent the 36,000 men and women who work in the residential building fields. We support small business because that's what we do. 86% of New Hampshire businesses are classified as a small business. And we have a great champion in Governor Christie for small business and for residential building. But to get a little bit of work out of the way, we're really honored. This is the first time he's been to one of our events, so we're glad he's here, is the New Hampshire Republican Party Chairman, Chris Ager. Do you want to say hi? Chris, what brings you here?
So I just wanted to, first, Matt Mayberry and I have been friends for a long time, but we know there's a building shortage, or people are looking for housing, affordable housing, and so the builders working together with the communities and the legislature to make sure that we can encourage the builders to do what the society needs in a free market style is what we need. So we thank you for everything you're doing to help the people of New Hampshire, have affordable homes to live in, or really expensive homes. It depends on the market. So, and this is a free market, and we love having free market organizations helping our communities and our state be a better place to live for everyone. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Done. Thank you.
All right.
So friends, the reason why you're here, this great guy, he's a champion of home builders, he's a champion of small business. He invented straight talk. When I was thinking about it, you were actually doing it. So sir, thank you. He's been a great friend to New Hampshire, he's been a good friend to me, and so I'm going to shut up, get out of the way, and let this great leader of the Republican Party and for our nation do what he does best, just talk to you folks. So we're going to talk over the media to the folks behind them. But Governor,
Thanks,
all yours.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. The media too. Thank you for coming. Look, I was thinking about it on the car ride on the way over here. I just got off of doing an interview on CNN, and was thinking about exactly what I wanted to talk to you because I don't want to make a big, long speech here. I'd rather just spend time talking to you individually and see what your questions are. But I will say, first off, I want to thank our hosts very much for having us here. I like this IPA, and it will be sustaining me throughout my conversation. But one of the news items that hit today that really struck me was that Vladimir Putin as he's preparing to meet with fellow dictator Kim Jong Un of North Korea to figure out how they're going to work together to beat the free people of Ukraine. Said today that the American democracy is rotten to the core, and that what's going on with Donald Trump in this country proves how rotten our democracy is, and that he is supportive of the president, the former president. I have to tell you the truth. If I got an endorsement from the communist, autocratic, dictator, former KGB operative Vladimir Putin, I'd run about as far away from that as I possibly could. And it shows you with what he's up to today, he's trying to sow discord and discontent in our country, and dissent, which we're fine with. We're fine with having dissent in our country. There is none in his. You saw one of the guys who dissented against him, his plane mysteriously crashed, and he was killed a week and a half or so ago. There's no dissent at all in Russia. And what he's doing is trying to bring together with the Chinese Communist Party, his group in Russia, the communists in North Korea, and the Ayatollah in Iran, a new quad that wants to fill a vacuum that, in my view, the last two presidents and maybe three presidents of the United States have left in world leadership for the United States. Barack Obama was an invisible world leader, got his Nobel Peace Prize for nothing, and then after that did nothing else on the world stage except to send awful signals to Russia that taking Ukraine would be okay, let them take Crimea, and then kept moving from there. Donald Trump said nothing but good things about Vladimir Putin his entire time as president. And I don't understand how you could say good things about a man like that. And now Joe Biden, who is just completely physically and I think mentally incapable of doing this job. He's not up to it, guys. And so what we need to do is to have a president who once again understands why America's role in the world is important. It's not only important to the rest of the world. And I'll tell you, I met with the Japanese ambassador last week in New York City. And I asked him, I said, if there's one thing that the Japanese government would ask of the next president of the United States, what would it be? And he said, for America to lead the world. He said, when America leads the world, people in Japan go to sleep at night comfortably. Because when America doesn't lead the world, we know who will. He said China and Russia. And then we don't go to sleep comfortably. So one, it's important for our friends around the world for us to lead. But even more importantly, it's important for our country. America has been at its greatest when it's led the world, and it's made us richer, freer, and stronger every time we've made those sacrifices to make sure that we were leading the world. Whether you're talking about in 1941, when FDR could have walked away, didn't. We made great sacrifices in World War II. But when we got to the end of it, we were a richer, stronger, freer country and a better world for it. You know, in 1981, there were lots of folks who wanted Ronald Reagan to just accept the Soviet Union as a fact of life. And instead, you know, he said that they were unacceptable. He said they were the evil empire. And in 10 years from when he started, the Soviet Union was gone. Gone. Because we made the sacrifices to build our defenses and to stay strong against what the Soviet Union was trying to do around the world. And in 10 years, the United States eliminated the Soviet Union when we had a strong leader leading us that way. And how did we come out of that? We came out of that again, richer, freer, stronger than we had ever been. There used to be two world powers, then there was one. And now, in the time since Reagan left, in the 35 years or so since he left the presidency, we have diminished our role in the world over and over and turned more inward. America will not be the greatest country in the world by filling the moat and pulling up the drawbridge. We won't do it. And I had a woman ask me at a town hall meeting a month or so ago, right here in New Hampshire, why should we care? Why should we do this? And I said, because it's the price we pay for being the richest and freest country in the world. Because if we allow others like China to fill that void, believe me, they'll be knocking on our door next. And it strikes me most particularly because 22 years ago, 2 days ago, I was appointed United States Attorney for New Jersey by President Bush 43. The very next day, 22 years ago, my wife and my younger brother were 2 and 3 blocks from the World Trade Center at work when the attacks on the Trade Center happened. And we were just lucky as a family that both of them made it out of there alive, but 3,000 of our fellow citizens died. The idea that these 2 great oceans would protect us forever from aggression from other countries finished that day. So this is not just about helping the world, this is about us helping ourselves. And we have candidates in this race who say, America first. Now, I don't know, I'm looking at this crowd here, I don't think there's anybody who's for America third. Like, I think we took a vote, we'd say, yeah, okay, I'm for the Netherlands first, I'll go Belgium second, and America in a nice third bronze medal spot. Everybody, it's a ridiculous statement. Every American wants America to be first. It's how we become first. That's the question. And I don't think we become first by giving Ukraine away to the Russians, like Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy are saying. I don't think we do it by giving Taiwan to the Chinese, which has been suggested by another candidate in this race. We don't do it by selling our friends down the river. For what? What we do is we stand up for the people who stand with us. And we work with them and we make this a stronger, freer world. If we don't fill that vacuum, the Chinese will. And they are patient. And they are waiting for us to lose our patience. And by the way, if we don't do this stuff, it will damage us here every bit as much as it damages us around the world. We will not have the strongest economy in the world if we're not engaged with the world. We will not have the freest people in the world if we don't engage with the world. It won't happen. And so, you know, we got almost none of these questions at that debate 3 weeks ago. You know, I hope we get some more of them at the Reagan Library. I'm hoping Reagan's memory inspires our moderators to ask some better questions. We started that debate with rich men north of Richmond and some question about that, and we ended it with me getting a question on UFOs. I had to be the lucky one to get the questions on UFOs, right? We never asked any questions about our role in the world. We never asked any questions about entitlements. We didn't ask any questions about the national debt, and we didn't ask any questions about taxes in 2 hours. But we had enough time to ask a question about rich men north of Richmond, and that song on the internet, and about UFOs. We better get serious about this, everybody. And the seriousness starts right here in New Hampshire. You all, over the course of your time vetting presidential candidates, have taken it very seriously. Your presence here today tells me you're taking it seriously again. And you cannot just give in to the idea that this country will be okay no matter who is the President of the United States. I don't want Joe Biden to be President of the United States for another 4 years. I don't think he can make it, physically or mentally. But I'm telling you, from watching politics in this country for the last 40 years, if we nominate Donald Trump, he will lose to Joe Biden just as sure as he lost to him in 2020. And he will bring a Democratic House with him, keep his Democratic Senate. And let me tell you what will happen to our country then. A packed Supreme Court will happen. The elimination of the filibuster will happen in the Senate. They will not leave any stone unturned this time. And in the 2 years that they'll be in control, they will change America in ways that we won't even recognize. Those are the stakes. This is not about somebody's vanity or somebody's ego. It's about your grandchildren's future. Forget about your children. It's your grandchildren's future that's on the line here. And I don't think any of us want to leave them a country that's less free, less strong, less well off than the ones we inherited. I'll just tell you, if I'm president, you're never, ever, ever going to have to wonder what I'm thinking. You never have to sit there and go, geez, I wonder what Christie thinks about this. You'll know. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you won't. I'll guarantee you that too. But you'll always know the truth. And the truth is not negotiable. The truth matters in this country. We've allowed it to become negotiable. We've allowed people to lie to us, look us right in the eye and lie to us, and be willing to accept it. I'm running because I'm unwilling to accept it anymore. I'm not going to stand by and let it happen, and I hope you don't either. Because we got better days ahead in this country if we stick to our principles of defending our Constitution, defending the freedom and liberty it's given us and that God has given us, and standing up for the truth. We start with those three things, we're going to be fine. But if we don't, we're giving away what our founders gave to us. I'll end with this. The next president is going to have the incredible honor of being the President of the United States on our 250th birthday. 2026, believe it or not, is coming soon. And it'll be our 250th birthday as a country. What will our founders think of us looking down from heaven? What kind of country will we have on that day, on July 4th of 2026? I want them to look down and say this is a country that stands for what's right, stands for what's good, stands up regardless of the political cost for the truth. If we have that, our founders will think they did a pretty good thing 250 years ago in granting this over to us. I don't want to be a part of a generation who makes our country weaker. I want to be the one that stands up and follows the tradition of generations before us to make us stronger. And we have guys like Vladimir Putin playing games in our politics and endorsing candidates for President of the United States. That should tell you something about him, and it should tell you something about the candidate he supports. It's not who we want to support, not who our Republican Party should be with. Ronald Reagan is spinning in his grave, watching what's going on. So I want to make those past leaders proud. I want to make you proud. So there are a lot of different stuff I could talk about. I decided to talk about that. I hope that matters to you because it matters to me, and I think it matters to the future of our country. So we can I'll walk around and take your questions. I had a couple people say they had questions for me, so that's good. I don't want to do it standing up here. It's too formal. I'll walk around. I can drink my beer then too, and we can have a conversation about the future of our country. But just remember, the future of this country is going to be determined here. Here. If Donald Trump wins here, he will be our nominee. And everything that happens after that is going to be on our party and on our country. It's up to you. The country has relied upon New Hampshire many times, to be the state that vets our presidents because you get to see us like this. Let me tell you, in Nebraska, they're not going to see us like this. Nor are they going to see us like this in New Jersey. Not like you see us in New Hampshire. I had a guy come up to me last night at an event I was at, and he said to me, I have shaken the hand of every president since Gerald Ford. And I believe him, because that's what happens here. With that privilege comes an enormous responsibility, and you know it. So America's counting on you, and I'm counting on you too. So Matt's right. I love small business. I love folks who build things for two reasons. One, because you're what's make this country great, and also because I can't build a damn thing. So I'm really incredibly jealous of people who know how to do it. My biggest challenge is like hanging a picture on the wall. Some of us are good at some things, and some of us are good at others. I admire what you do, and as president, I'll be supportive of what you do, because I'll get government out of your hair and let you do your business. So Thanks for having me today. Thanks for the IPA, and we'll come around and chat with you. Thank you very much.
The only formal question.
Okay.
If people want to help you, how can they do that?
Jeez, Matt, have you ever run for office? How'd you do that? Look, everybody, there's two ways that you can be helpful through the same thing. You go to chrischristie.com. Obviously, we have to raise money to run campaigns, and we need that. But also, we have to have donors to make sure we qualify for the debate stage. That's one of the things you do. Now, we qualified for the last one, we've qualified for the next one, we've qualified for the one after that already. But it's going to continue to go up. So if you know people who haven't donated, and let's say they don't have a lot, a donation of $1 or $5 helps too. Because while that isn't a lot of money to help the campaign, it's an individual donor that helps to keep us on the debate stage. And I want to be there when Donald Trump finally shows up, because he will. He'll show up eventually. And the one thing he doesn't want is a former federal prosecutor waiting there to ask him a few questions. And he's a prosecutor, I'm a prosecutor, he got to know up close. He got to watch my work. He used to send me notes all the time about what a great job I was doing. I'm not getting those anymore, but I used to get them from him all the time. And I want to be on that stage. So the two ways you can help is by donating. If you can donate a lot, that's great. We'll spend it well. But if you can only donate a little, or you have friends who can only donate a little, have them do it. Because every one of those donors counts towards keeping us on the debate stage and keeping us making our argument until we get here to the primary in New Hampshire in late January, early February, whenever we all decide to do it.
Early January.
Or early January, or late December, or whatever it turns out to be. It's going to be first, whatever it is. So I'm sure that Chris is going to make sure of that, and the Secretary of State's going to make sure of that. So those are the ways to help, Matt, and I appreciate you reminding me to do that. With Mary Pat not here, I have no one to remind me of that. So thank you, Matt.
Thanks, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.